Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sustainability Simplified, your bi monthly dose of how to seamlessly build an action oriented, sustainable, and profitable business. I am your host, Zitan, and I would like to welcome you to the very first episode. I was thinking about what should the first episode really be on, What should I really cover here? Over the past few months, I've had a few conversations with entrepreneurs. And what I've gathered is that they all have so many different perspectives on the word sustainability. As a term, being pretty complex, they all often ask me, Zitan, explain to me in one sentence, what really is this super long word sustainability? Apart from this, a lot of my public lectures, I usually start them by asking the audience, what is the first word that comes to your mind when I say sustainability? I get several different responses, such as long-term, long-lasting, environment, mountains, rivers. So I thought, let me actually begin my podcast with this question itself. What really is sustainability? To be honest, there is no one right or wrong answer to it. It's more of who I'm talking to, and the answer will change accordingly. Let's say you're a solopreneur, right? A person, one person running an entire enterprise. How would I explain sustainability to you? My one sentence would be, sustainability is nothing but your business of doing its business, of building the performance, which is measured via several indicators, one of them being financial performance, so let's say through turnover or profit figures, and at the same time, taking action to protect the planet and empower its people. So performance, protecting the planet, and empowering its people. And let me go reverse, starting with people, planet, and then performance, although happening simultaneously. And that's the business of your business really, if you're thinking, acting, and advocating yourself as a sustainable business. Let me take a second to explain why I made the effort to say, let's go reverse, starting with people. The idea is, whether you're a B2B, which is business to business, B2C, which is business to consumer, C2B, C2C, or whatever abbreviations you want to think of, the idea is you eventually are a P2P, which is people to people or peer to peer. This was the concept I was first introduced to by my sales mentor, Swastik. Think about it, right? It is people indeed who lie at the heart of any entity, isn't it? And that's common sense. But sometimes, as they say, common sense is not so common. Well, it boils down to the fact that any value-giving exercise that a business does is first and foremost for its people. If your product or service isn't giving value to the customer, who is, mind you, a person, your business wouldn't probably be alive today, right? Now, when we look at value addition, it's people. And then, of course, people make the planet, right? Apart from the fact that there's flora, fauna, and then through your business performance, you can actually transform the lives of people and positively impact the planet. The question then arises, how am I, or rather, how is my business, since we've taken this example, creating a meaningful difference to my customers and even other stakeholders? So let's say, for example, investors, the media, non-profits, other partners, academicians, and so on. And taking a step back further, why does my business really need to do this anyway? Think carefully. If the planet doesn't exist, will your business? Will you? Will your customers, investors, other stakeholders exist? The answer, of course, is an emphatic no. Now, definitely, I took a very extreme example of the world ending tomorrow. And you might even say, Zitan, you know what? This is really not happening tomorrow, or 2 decades, or 5 decades down the line. So why should I even care? We saw the Earth Overshoot Day, which is the day of the year where humanity has technically exhausted, all environmental and biodiversity resources for that particular year. The Earth Overshoot Day this year came actually 20 days later as compared to last year. Why? Business activity and human activity in totality had declined due to the lockdown as a result of COVID-19. The point then is, really, can businesses and humans at large function in a way that can protect the planet and bring about the change? Can we really delay the Earth Overshoot Day next year? The answer, of course, is yes, we can make an effort to do this. And if you need another reason to take proactive action and advocate for sustainability, just close your eyes and think about your grandchildren's grandchildren. How would you want their lives to be? Wouldn't you want them to breathe fresh air to begin with? And why even go that far? In our own lifetimes, we are seeing forest fires, glaciers melting, untimely rains, floods even, natural disasters of all kinds. Would we, ourselves, want to live in such a world? If the answer in your head right now is no, Zitan, definitely not, do keep listening. So the question is, how can each one of us really internalize sustainability? Let's take two examples here. Let's assume you're a solopreneur, my favorite example. Let's say a baker. And that actually was the first example that crossed my mind because I recently had a very interesting conversation with a senior from college, Karen. Hers was one of the lockdown-inspired enterprises. It's called Patisserie Calorie. The calorie is with a K. Super fancy. She is a home baker. And so let's take this example, right? Ask yourself, how can you think about your business as a whole to be, let's say, environmentally friendly? Look at your value chain. Value chain is just a fancy way of saying, look at all the stages that your product passes through its journey to, in this case, from farm to fork, as they say. That is, procuring your raw materials right up to the customer's dining table. Let me map this and let's pick up a few aspects from those stages. So when I start the process, it is probably at the supermarket or at the farmer's market where I have a choice. Choice being a very important word indeed. We all always have choices. We just need to be bold enough to take them. And of course, have a purpose behind taking them. So you have a choice to perhaps buy from an organic farm close by, or maybe organic or natural products. Where possible, put them in your recipes. Let's look at the next stage. What would reduce cooking time for you? And why would you want to reduce it? So maybe, let's say, using a pressure cooker over an open pan for baking a particular dish. That would reduce time and therefore usage of natural gas, which is a non-renewable resource. Or maybe could you use a gadget for cooking that is perhaps powered by a renewable resource, let's say a solar-powered induction? Similarly, you can map the entire value chain and spot opportunities where you can really make a difference. This, when communicated to your stakeholders, really builds trust, which then allows your business to further grow, therefore becoming a cycle of growth that is, sustainable. Let's take another example. How can a school student perhaps, or how can a school itself play a role in the sustainability movement? Imagine yourself as a school student. Can you really do something? I remember when I was in school, that was really, really long ago. How many years ago? I passed out in 2006, so that's almost a decade and a half ago. Anyway, back then, I don't even recall knowing the term sustainability. But I know that I was a part of the nature club, where we would do fun things. We would go for treks, hikes, learn about the environment, and flora and fauna. But of course, the term sustainability has really picked up ever since. And I recall that I was closely interacting with Bombay International School in Mumbai last year on a voluntary program, which is called the Global Schools Program, that empowers schools to embed and take action on sustainability and the Sustainable Development Goals. More on this probably in my other episodes. I found that Bombay International School has a very amazing model of student ambassadors for peace and social change. So these students actually are role models for the rest of the school as they lead activities that are associated to peacekeeping and driving large-scale social change. Now, this is a powerful model that several schools can actually adopt and empower students with the relevant resources and the encouragement to drive change, not only within the school, but in neighboring communities too. These were just two examples. You, me, and each one of us on planet Earth can take small steps to lead a sustainable lifestyle even. This is not just limited to people who are running enterprises or are part of educational institutions. Let me throw in some examples of choices that you can make. Perhaps choosing to walk to the market close by or your workplace when possible, or doing a carpool. It's fun and sustainable both. Getting a few plants that are suitable to grow in your local climatic conditions makes an office desk, for instance, also look cooler. Or maybe taking a bucket bath over a shower, using a cloth bag when you go to the market. And while traveling, enjoying local food and choosing homestays are some of the ways in which we can take those small steps. So, all in all, the idea is that sustainability can be interpreted differently by different people. However, the essence of it all lies in a balancing act of the three pillars of sustainability. Just to reiterate, people, planet, and performance. While open to interpretation, sustainability in all its might, I believe, can make a true change, not only for us, but for our future generations too. With that, I would like to thank you for listening. And if you liked this podcast, feel free to share it in your network. My one takeaway from today's episode was that sustainability is simply put a balancing act. I would love to hear your takeaway from today. Do share it with me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, or Instagram, where you will find me on @Zitin Munshi. That's @ZitinMunshi. Also, if you're an entrepreneur and you're listening to this, and you'd like to know how your business can dial up the sustainability quotient profitably, do get in touch with me on @NextMileCo, which is @NextMileco. We are on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Until next time.